Hey, it's Khalees. If you're new, welcome, and if you're not new, welcome back. Today I'm going to be covering some tips for locals who may be looking for work at home and people without ties to the islands. A bit of background: I've been in both hiring and interviewing roles for office jobs here on Oahu, particularly for administrative positions. Additionally, all of my experience comes from working with local, family-owned, and or small businesses. So I only have experience working with small businesses here on Oahu. If you're looking to work in the islands, chances are that's what you're going to get because small businesses are the lifeblood of Hawaii. According to statistics published by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce in 2022, there are 128,863 small businesses operating in Hawaii, accounting for 99.3% of the state's total business. Additionally, over half of the state's workforce are employed by small businesses. Before we get any further into this video, I'd like to let you all know that I cannot speak to any tips for other islands or what hiring and interviewing is like in other environments. I'm also not claiming to be an expert on this topic. Instead, I'm just here to share some of my experience that I've noticed during the short time I've been at home since moving away for university. Here are my tips for getting an office job on Oahu. Depending on the type of work you're looking for, chances are the employer is looking for someone who wants to stay long term and is used to Hawaii's unique culture. For my locals, I recommend including where you graduated or went to high school on the island on your resume, LinkedIn, job, or during your job interview. As someone who has reviewed and submitted resumes in Canada and on the mainland, this seemed to be a little weird, but this actually makes a huge difference for when you're looking for jobs in Hawaii. Quick story: when I was interviewing for jobs here on Oahu, I did not mention where I graduated from high school on my resume, but it was something that came up during the interview. It turns out that her own kids had gone to the same school and proved to be an easy way to connect with my interviewer. Fun fact, after I was hired for the position, I later found out that I had graduated with my coworker's son, just because that's kind of how things are in Hawaii. It has that small town vibe. Even if you don't have this kind of connection with your interviewer, including where you graduated from or attended high school is still a powerful and easy way to show that you are used to life in Hawaii and are less likely to leave. If you have family in Hawaii, this includes if your spouse and your family are from the islands, or if you're a military spouse, this is definitely something to mention during the interview because it demonstrates that you have ties to the island and are therefore less likely to leave. For my military spouses, be ready to tell potential employers how long you've been stationed here for. This is especially the case for jobs with in-person work, because employers are likely to take this into consideration when hiring. Due to the shift to remote work, however, some small businesses, including medical offices, may be able to accommodate remote work if you need to move, so I'd encourage you to apply anyways. Also, just a quick note, not every employer is going to ask you how long you've been stationed here for, but it's something just to be prepared for. And if you don't have either of these kinds of ties, don't give up. I've hired people who mention that they moved here because they love the water or they love being surrounded by nature, to name a few. This should go without saying, but I don't recommend using blatantly untrue stereotypes of life in Hawaii, like wanting to surf to work every day or wanting to experience living in a grass shack as your reason, just because these examples show employers, many if not all of whom have grown up or lived in the islands for years, that you have a very misguided impression of what life is like here, and therefore may pack up and leave if your fantasies are left unfulfilled. While I don't advise listing Hawaii's unique qualities just for the sake of it, I do encourage telling employers the real reason why you moved here. Compared to some places on the mainland, attire in Hawaii tends to be pretty casual, even at law firms, a traditionally conservatively dressed field. For males, aloha attire is usually a safe choice, This means wearing a short sleeve aloha shirt with long pants, a belt, and dress shoes. Depending on the position, if you walk in with a full-on suit and tie and a long sleeve shirt, you'll probably be overdressed. But if you're unsure, it's always better to be overdressed than underdressed. For females, dresses or skirts should be at least past the knee. Long pants and sleeveless or sleeved tops are probably okay, although I would recommend wearing closed-toed shoes if you're going to be wearing flats. Open-toed heels are also probably okay. Though this is certainly not limited to Hawaii, in addition to finding jobs online using sites like LinkedIn and Indeed, or even on Hiring Now posters that you may see posted out of storefronts, you may also receive interview offers as a client, patient, or customer of a small business, even in the absence of any online or physical job postings. One of my coworkers at my current workplace used to work at a medical office in a front desk position, and guess how she got the interview? Just by being a patient. To get the interview, she didn't have to submit any resume or cover letter. I use this example just to show that, at least in Hawaii, just because you get an interview offer from a small business without applying doesn't mean that it's automatically a scam. Rather, if you're looking for a job, treat it as a genuine offer. If you're not from Hawaii or haven't been living here for many years, here are a few more tips to demonstrate that you're serious about staying in Hawaii. Embracing Hawaii's culture is key to showing that you intend to stay here in the islands. One way to accomplish this is by at least trying to pronounce Hawaiian names and words correctly. Some street, building, and people's names are in Hawaiian, so this is likely something that you're going to encounter while living here. Pronunciations on Google Maps are often incorrect, so I recommend engaging with locals instead. Two ways you can do this are by speaking with longtime residents, including neighbors and family, and as well as listening to the local radio and other stations. As I've mentioned before, Hawaiian Pidgin is a staple of life in the islands. You'll likely hear Pidgin words and phrases wherever you go at work, on the radio, or even just shopping at the supermarket. Though you may not encounter Pidgin during the interview, it is something that you should anticipate while living in Hawaii. Life in Hawaii is notoriously expensive. As with any other metropolitan island economy, we import most things in. That makes shipping and buying things more expensive than you may find on the US mainland. Many US stores also do not include Hawaii in their domestic shipping deals, likely for this very reason. If you're not living with family or at a military base, rent can be pretty expensive too, and this is because of the island's relatively small size and subsequent housing shortage. According to rent.com, as of June 2022, the cost of housing in Hawaii was 120.7% above the national average. For a one-bedroom apartment in Honolulu, which is where most jobs are located, the average cost was $3,280. Here's a quick recap of the tips for getting an office job on Oahu that we covered today. All of these tips are, of course, dependent on the type of work you're looking for, but they should apply to most small businesses that have office environments. Although some of these points may seem frightening, especially to out-of-staters, that is not my intention. Having worked in human resources for small businesses on Oahu, I think it's important to have a realistic perspective of what living and working in Hawaii is like. That is the purpose of this video. After all, one of the most common reasons why employees leave is due to the high cost of living and the fact that employees could find a higher paying job on the mainland. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know below in the comments. If you found this video helpful or interesting, I'd appreciate it if you liked, comment, and subscribed. I'm also always open to suggestions for future content. Bye-bye!